Hey guys, this is Hector from the Insert Name FC podcast, here to tell you guys about Canadips. It is a great tasting, superior alternative to traditional dip using CBD in a way that is radical, enjoyable, and effective. It comes in 5 core flavors: wintergreen, mint, citrus, mango, and American spice. Canadips CBD is the new evolution in dip, allowing guys to enjoy great, long-lasting taste without the downsides. If you guys want to go ahead and try them out, use the code BELLYUP20 at CanadipsCBD.com. Once again, BELLYUP20 at CanadipsCBD.com, and you'll get yourself 20% off your purchase. Thank you again for Canadips for being a great partner of Belly Up Sports.
Brazil sacked their manager, Dorival Junior, after a 4-1 loss to Argentina. One of the most embarrassing performances I've seen from Brazil. Actually, this Brazil in general has been just super overwhelming. They have not been good, and it's crazy because it has so much talent in that roster. You're talking about the names like Rodrigo and Vinicius Junior. You're talking about Rafinha. You're talking about Cunha, who's kind of become a rising star right now in the Premier League. Obviously Allison, probably one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Even like the back line should be one of the best back lines in the world. Mind you, there's injuries, and I get that part. But along with all that, though, it's just like, I just don't know what's going on with Brazil. And it's insane that maybe there's an arrogance there. Maybe it's not the same Brazil that we grew up on, right? The Joga Bonito, the Ronaldinho, the Ronaldo, the Adriano, the Roberto Carlos, the Kaká, like all that stuff. Like maybe we're just past that era now. And this era is just, they just don't have it. Maybe that's what it is. They just can't function as a team. Maybe too many individuals on that team. Maybe that's the root cause of what's going on with Brazil. I don't know. I'm just stating from what I think. And it's kind of funny that Vinicius, I think Vinny and Rodrigo, by the way, which I'm very disappointed in those two, is they're flexing their Champions Leagues, right? Flexing how many Champions Leagues they've won. And obviously Argentina has like the ultimate card on you right now. They won the World Cup. They won the World Cup, and they have been dominant in South America and CONMEBOL competitions for a good while now. They won the 2021 Copa America, or was it 2021? Yeah, 2021 Copa America. Then win the World Cup, and then win the previous Copa America. So it's like, can you really be talking right now? I know you're not talking. Like that's insane to come off as that arrogant, like that, and you're flexing Champions League when these guys literally have won the World Cup. So, that was embarrassing. But I think that sums up Brazil right now. It's just mentally they're just not where they need to be. This is not I get the frustration from a lot of Brazilian fans, especially people that are from Brazil. Tactical manager has been super critical about this Brazilian team, and once again, most people know my background when it comes to this game. Brazil is a huge influence for why I love this sport, for the way they play. My dad was a huge Brazilian fan because, let's be honest, Salvador and the U.S. they're nowhere near the level of Brazil. Probably not even a centimeter close to, not even a centimeter of what Brazil's talent level is. But they just don't flow. They're not fluid. They're just not that team that we grew up to love, right? This is not the team of Joga Bonito. It's not that. And it sucks. It sucks that we don't have that anymore. But it's just, that's where we are now with the Brazilian team. And Dorival Junior just couldn't get this group of individuals to work as a unit. And there lies Carlo Ancelotti. And most people are probably like, oh man, you guys are, maybe we're just overhyping Ancelotti at this point. But the man has been able to do it with names. We're talking about, you can go back at that AC Milan team that he had. You can go back to that Chelsea team that he had. Bayern Munich, when he coached Bayern Munich, he did pretty well with PSG as well. And then now with Real Madrid, with all those names that Real Madrid has, and he has gotten some out of it, right? Maybe this season's a little bit overwhelming for Real Madrid because just, not where you want them to be. They're still winning games. I mean, they're still in contention for the for La Liga, but still trying to figure out the whole Mbappe thing. And I think also the fact that a lot of Brazilian players play for Real Madrid, obviously have a lot of respect to Carlo Ancelotti. In general, I think a lot of people have a lot of respect for Carlo Ancelotti. So I think that would at least help. Maybe there's already like a respect for him where they're gonna lock in and listen to whatever Don Carlo Ancelotti is gonna tell them to do. Um, that's just the big question is that what is it the coach? Is it the manager that would solve all the problems right now for this Brazilian national team? And I don't know, but it's kind of weird timing, right? Because like I said, Real Madrid hasn't necessarily been the scary team that everyone's been thinking that's gonna. I mean, literally just lost to Valencia, but they haven't necessarily lived up to the hype of getting Kylian Mbappe. It's been very overwhelming. And I mean, the last time Real Madrid was overwhelming with Carlo Ancelotti, he got fired that year. He won La Decima for Real Madrid, and then the following year didn't necessarily have a great season. He gets sacked, and that's when we get Zinedine Zidane taking over for Real Madrid, and the rest is history. But then obviously he comes back and he builds this team, which there wasn't like any difference from. I mean, aside from maybe Cristiano Ronaldo and the guys that he had for La Decima, but like he still had a very good group of players. But the reason why I'm saying that, like right now, as things are overwhelming, if Real Madrid somehow in this year does not come out with any silver, obviously they're in the Copa del Rey final against Barcelona. They're still in contention for La Liga, and obviously they're still in the race for the Champions League. But let's say they don't win these things, right? I mean, they already got eliminated from the Spanish Super Cup. Frankly, don't care. But if they get eliminated, that they don't win these things. Perez has done it before. I'm just saying, Perez has done it before where he has fired coaches because he felt like they weren't living up to the standard. And I think that's a good possibility that it could happen again. And then the reason why I say that is because obviously the rumors are always going to be there for Xabi Alonso, right? Xabi Alonso doing all that he's doing right now with Bayer Leverkusen. And could we see, and people keep asking like, hey, are you going to take the Real Madrid job? Are you going to take the Real Madrid job? And he tries to be all cheeky about it. I mean, I think he has one more year left on his contract with Bayer Leverkusen. Not saying that's important by any means. And then same thing with Ancelotti. I think he has one more year to his contract. So, but with those two things, where Real Madrid is always trying to get the next best thing, right? And Xabi Alonso looks very much like he's going to be the next best thing as a manager. And he does have those ties to Real Madrid, and probably like the best part of it all, he's Spanish, right? He has the Spanish connection, which honestly is something that I feel like hasn't been there in a while for Real Madrid. With those rumors lurking, could Carlo Ancelotti maybe try to get ahead of the game and take the Brazilian job? And obviously, this is depending of how much he wants that Brazilian job. The Brazilian job is, I think, Brazilian job is always going to be a job that everyone would love to have, being able to be the leader for the Brazilian national team and be part of that rich history, being one of the most successful nations in the World Cup and not one of the most successful nation in the World Cup. But it's just that the situation right now is really unique. Maybe Ancelotti could be the guy, but at the same time, I don't know. Because we don't know we don't know what really is the real root of the problem is with Brazil, because the talent is there, just maybe not the focus is there. So it's an interesting storyline. I kind of want to see what happens. I think Carlo Ancelotti, if he wants to really like have a say, which I mean, Perez and him had a talk, and they said that his job is very much safe at Real Madrid, as it should be. But I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I thought with him winning La Decima, he got enough leeway to where he can afford to have one bad season and still be. And even even if he had that one bad year, go into the following year, and I still felt confident with him in Real Madrid. But obviously, after that one bad year, they sacked him. So I'm just saying, I wouldn't trust Real Madrid as much, even if Perez is telling me that don't worry, your job's not in jeopardy or anything like that, because like I said, if there's a shot, if Perez has a shot at getting Xabi Alonso, he's going to take it.
Who is that guy?